I can see why Diana was like, get me off this show. Hello, welcome to Glee on the Rocks, the podcast where we break down the highs and lows of the writing, the music, and the cultural impact of a TV show that only ran 6 seasons and ended like 5 years ago. I'm Emily.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm B.
And this is season 3, episode 8? 8. I wrote it down and then I didn't look at it. Hold on to 16. Which, I guess top of the show, we should just say, we liked it.
Yeah, I think that's a unanimous thing. Like, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
This was. The quick summary from Netflix this time, because it was super short. In an attempt to recruit more members, Finn tracks down former teammate Sam Evans and convinces him to come back to the Glee Club. What this summary is completely missing is that this is Sectionals.
Yeah.
And that's why he's tracking him down. But I guess Netflix didn't really want to spoil the whole episode.
Yeah, this is a big off. It's like Troubletones versus the New Directions. Who's gonna come out on top? Yeah.
This is a big episode, and somehow I had completely forgotten just how much happens in this episode, and that I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially coming off the last one.
A lot of storylines. Yeah.
Maybe it helps that we just talked about the last episode, and now these two, they kind of work together for once.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should.
Episode ended on that cliffhanger, and then they're actually like following up on that cliffhanger. It's not episodes of the week anymore. Wow, a story arc.
Weird. It's at least a 2-episode story arc.
At least.
We have a lot of topics. We have a lot of storylines. Should we start with Sam, since he is the lead of the summary?
With Sam, there are multiple storylines going on. I mean, it's kind of all centered on him, but like, I completely forgot that the Sam and Mercedes thing sort of resurrected.
Rekindles. Yeah. Well, because the last time we saw Sam Sadie's was the end of season 2.
Yeah.
That like cliffhanger at the end of season 2 where they're just like holding hands in the Lima line. And then Cord is not on the show anymore in the opener of season 3.
He's just gone.
Yeah.
And now we finally know where he went.
Kentucky, apparently.
Went to Kentucky and has been working as a exotic dancer, Magic Mike style, at Stallions, known as White Chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't know why the other 2 dancers had a little persona. Like one was a firefighter and the other was like a mailman, and then he's just white chocolate.
He's just a white guy with abs.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple things going on here. One, sex work shouldn't be vilified or made fun of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
just
is always on that.
That was my like one issue with the episode. I was like, Glee, you could have almost had just like a win.
Yeah. Full win.
Yeah.
It's like a main plot point that he's ashamed of it.
Yeah. I get, I get like an 18-year-old kid, or yes, that he should be, because I can get like an 18-year-old kid having to leave his home and earn money as an exotic dancer could be embarrassing, but Finn especially telling him that that working there is throwing his life away is a bit like, all right, let's not vilify a trade industry here.
Also, Blaine's reaction to it is pretty shitty too.
Oh, so shitty.
Oh my god. Yeah,
he was a dick to Sam.
He was a full dick to Sam, which feels out of character unless there's some sort of tragic background we don't know about and backstory, but we never, like, I remember the fandom trying to figure out, like, did someone assault him? Did someone do something to him in the past? And we never got an explanation for why he was so, I'm not for sale. Like, okay.
Yeah.
It was over the top.
Like,
It was over the top and doesn't really seem to connect to Sebastian. It's not like Sebastian's trying to buy him off Kurt, which could be a different plot line.
Well, like, also, I feel like if they had done a little more to, like, sow the seeds of, like, something is building with Blaine and he feels attacked from every angle. Because, like, we did see a little bit of Finn arguing him, but I don't know, it felt disproportionate to the randomly turn around and attack this guy that you've never had an issue with from Blaine.
Yeah, definitely a disproportionate response.
And it wasn't about like, oh, I'm the one in charge of the Glee Club and I know what's best for the Glee Club. Like, it was like tangentially that, because Sam was like, no, we can't do that. We need to do this. Like, we need to sell sex. Yeah. And so I guess that's what they're trying to like tell us was the conflict, is that it's the Blaine Finn problem just extended. Now, like, Sam is also like, no, I know what's best for the Glee Club and I'm just going to come in and do it. But yeah, no, was Darren just like, I'm going to act the shit out of this today? Like, I
think he probably was. He was like, wait, I get to act a different way?
Yeah.
Right. Like, so, he just made it dramatic because he could.
He had an emotion beyond dapper and just really went for it.
I gotta lean hard in.
gotta lean into it.
Or maybe he like had to get really mad, so then like the boxing scene made sense. Like, he's like, oh, he's so mad, he had to go hit something.
I'm so mad, you guys.
No, I know what it is. They cut one too many Klaine kisses, and Darren was like, fuck this.
Those were the best part of Darren's week, and you took it away from him. Allegedly. Not to get too far away from Sam towards Blaine, which I know happens to us all the time.
You can't help but pull focus.
To pull focus back to Sam's storylines, they kept that they had lost their home, that they had to move, that his dad was working a construction job, which again, not a bad career. Construction workers can make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
But at least they kept that the family was struggling.
Right.
Even though like there's some continuity there, even though the house that they were living in Kentucky was like, oh, it's pretty nice to me. I don't know.
As I was watching it, I was like, so like it has a fence out front. Is that like the metal fence supposed to be the indicator of poverty there?
Like if that's the case,
okay.
Yeah, the house was fine. Like if a metal fence is an indicator of poverty, we're poor.
Yeah.
We have a chain link fence because we have dogs. Like, yeah. I appreciate his parents being like, is this really what you want to do, without just being like, follow your dreams. Yeah. Like, they know that it's been realistic. A little more realistic. They know it's been really hard for him having to like, he just showed up at McKinley and then he had to leave again.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that happens to people whose parents take different jobs and they leave. Well, I went to 3 schools in my whole life, like 1 elementary school, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. So I can't relate, but I've heard that that's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
It's also, like, I find like this is another case of Glee burying the most interesting stories. Because like it actually would have been really interesting to like get to follow Sam as he did this. Sam didn't seem that ashamed of like what he was doing to bring money in.
No, right.
It was just everyone else telling him he needed to be ashamed. So
yeah, definitely.
That would have been interesting to see him like getting the job and stuff. Of course, if Glee tried to do it, they would have ruined it. But
yeah, his audition dance, for Stallions could have been kind of hot. Which I kind of like
too. Burlesque.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I mean, they would have done Lady Marmalade.
Nice.
Like, I mean, for me, Cord Overstreet / Sam Evans is not a sexy dancer, so I kind of appreciated that an 18-year-old kid doesn't have the best moves. But he was like, you gotta do a body roll. Like, that's something. You're trying something there. Good. Maybe Blaine was just offended by how bad the body roll was.
I know, it was funny because when like Finn and Rachel decide to go get Sam, well, I mean, they need bodies because they have no members for sectionals.
Yes,
and they have no Rachel, and they're down all the members. So like, I get that. Like, but he was like, we need star power. We need Sam. And I was like, yeah, you guys just did a school musical where so many random people on that stage like pulled focus. Like, call one of them. Like, why do you need to go like pull this kid out of Kentucky and have him live with you at your house? Like, it's a weird avenue to go. I mean, it gets a good job done, but they explain away why Cord Overstreet didn't come in until episode 7.
Finn's reaction to finding Sam actually made me laugh. I don't know, something about Corey's expression when he said,
I didn't know Backdraft was a musical.
Oh my god, it's my favorite.
I was like, yeah.
It's my favorite also because I'm honestly surprised they haven't made Backdraft into a musical yet. Knowing the industry, it could still be in the pipeline.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are having a lot of ideas right now while they can't make it.
Everyone's just watching old movies on Netflix like, we could make that into a musical. We could do that. So Sam does also begin the theme of the episode of holding on to your youth and your childhood and your glory days of being a teenager,
right?
Which for these kids, I get that it is realistic in the scope of the show that high school students, especially the seniors, are like, these are the best years of our lives and we got to hold on to being 16. And it's just so, I get that that's how life feels right now. It's not true.
No.
Yeah, not at all. But they love to portray it that way on TV.
They really do. So like, it's hard for me to criticize that entire angle of this episode because that is how so many teenagers feel. Like I was ready to be an adult. Like I didn't want to stay in high school. I was ready to get out. But a lot of people, it feels like the most important thing you are ever going to do is be prom queen and win student council and play that final football game. Like I get it. It's just not true.
That's why I kind of appreciated Quinn's part of the storyline. I feel like this is the first and maybe only episode where like the crazy Quinn going off the rails storyline kind of worked, which is weird. There's been so many episodes where it just feels like thrown in, like we don't even talk about it till the very end or we just ignore it altogether because of reasons. But I thought that her finally like having a breakthrough moment about that specifically, about like why am I trying to like force myself to skip steps ahead? Like why am I holding so tightly to this having a perfect baby and you know, things like that, and ignoring like the friends and the opportunities that I have in front of me? Because Quinn has been like very separate from the Glee Club and the Cheerios. Like all of her storylines have been just her and Puck and Shelby and not really connected to anything else. So I thought that was, I felt like we finally got some closure on that storyline, question mark. I don't remember if it goes past this. I really hope not.
Yeah. No, it was nice to see her have some evolving of her characters of her character. And I do, since I don't remember a lot of it, I certainly hope that stays because of her many shitty storylines. This whole I'm gonna force another baby and I'm gonna ruin people's lives and I'm just gonna be mean to be mean. It's not even like mean high school girl who's just kind of shitty like Kitty. It's it's like adult cruelness in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like some really harsh, cold things that it's hard to root for her in any way until she kind of pulls herself out of it.
Yeah, she was just like spending all this time focusing on the wrong things, like looking for external validation in all the wrong places.
And like I appreciate that what she's been through can like fuck a person up, but it's definitely cross the line between what's a good story to watch and what's just like, okay, you could be done.
Like we've done with this now.
Yeah.
Who's calling for their mother?
It's a kid outside, I think.
Okay. Or it's Quinn's like childhood in the background.
In the background,
mom. It's Beth calling for her mother.
Well, that's her new sound effects for the episode.
Mom.
Calling children's voices.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good meta like moment there too, because like when's the last time Quinn talked to her own mother? Like, ooh,
God, never. You know? I guess
we don't know because Glee doesn't acknowledge parents unless they're one very special scene.
I still assume that she lives with Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean you would think, but
I guess
I was thinking that in the prom queen episode in season 2 she has some kind of interaction with her mom, maybe.
Oh, right, because her mom like pulls out the crown.
Yeah,
right,
or something like that.
You know, it's terrible because this didn't happen that long ago.
But it's been a long year.
It's been so many years.
I know. Quinn having mommy issues, though, I think would be more interesting. I think it would make more sense. Like, I just always felt like her craziness in this season about like getting Beth back and blah 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 is like seems like a weird thing to latch on to with no context, because she gave up Beth so willingly.
She did
to Shelby in season 1, and like, you know, she was young then. She's still young. I just feel like I'd rather them have explored maybe the psyche of it a little bit instead of just being like they legit call her Crazy Quinn to her face.
Yeah, which doesn't help.
Doesn't. Yeah.
A teenager who's struggling to be like, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Not that she's not.
She is, but
she does have.
No one's offering her professional help. She doesn't even meet with Miss Pillsbury. Everyone's just like,
that's true. She, instead of being after her skank Quinn time, I feel like maybe she should have been assigned mandatory counseling sessions with Miss Pillsbury.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would have been good for her, though. I don't know how Miss Pillsbury would have handled it. Yeah.
Not great, but they would have tried.
It would have been something, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Poor Quinn. I can see why Diana was like, get me off this show.
Yeah.
And apparently also Sam, or maybe they just didn't like Cord, because this is actually, it's not that he was just not in the episodes. His contract expired, and his option to return as a regular had not been picked up when the show began. The Hollywood Reporter tells me that it wasn't until July of 2012 that he had officially closed his deal to come back in the 4th season. And this is the 3rd, which means like,
yeah,
what is going on? So there, I don't know that we ever really found out what Cord's issue with Ryan and Brad was.
I just Googled it to see, and it says he declined an offer to return as a recurring character in season 3 to focus on music.
Okay, so that means that he wanted to be a regular, which is a pay bump, and they only wanted to keep him as a recurring. Which you get less money, and then decided to play his cards to say, if you don't make me a regular, I'll leave. And they were like, goodbye.
Yeah. The article says that he was able, his schedule opened up so he could come back in, and it says he'll reappear on the December 6th episode, parentheses, and recur throughout the rest of the season. So maybe he is still recurring. Maybe he just decided like, oh, all right, I'll do it.
Like, oh, I guess I need some money.
Yeah.
So Quinn also has her issues with Shelby, and is going to tell Figgins that Shelby has been sleeping, or I guess one time, with Puck. So Rachel confronts Quinn,
right,
that she shouldn't do this because it will ruin Beth's life somehow. And also that Puck is 18, so it's okay. Like,
that's so weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are so many ethics clauses for teachers, and she's violated all of them. Even just having like her biological daughter and her daughter's biological mother at the school probably violates some kind of ethics code.
You'd have to I feel like you just have to sign so many release forms to be like, yes, I'm okay with my biological mother, whom I've had no contact with previously, teach at the school. And so what if he's 18? Still your student. You can't.
There have been teachers fired for so much less.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like, Shelby chose to come to the school where her daughter's biological mother and her own biological daughter.
Yeah.
And her her adopted daughter's, that's just
dad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
So now she's sleeping with her adopted daughter's dad.
Yeah.
And her adopted daughter's biological mother is trying to get her fired, and her biological daughter is trying to convince. Fuck.
Yeah.
We need a family tree.
It's a little soap opera-y for the rest of the episode. And for the series in general. Like this was too much. It was too like Dawson's Creek for me. And also you just don't need to put that out there.
I thought it was interesting that Shelby's the one who finally like gets through to Quinn, which I guess shows that Quinn wasn't that crazy all along. Like maybe she was just going through something and someone, I think at the end of the day, she really does love Beth. She might not love Shelby, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that like Puck tried to talk to her, Sam tried to talk to her, Rachel tried to talk to her. And like she had talked to Shelby before, but what does Shelby tell her? She's just like, oh, you won't stay young forever. Like, don't try to grow up so fast, which is what everyone else is saying too.
Yeah.
But, so I
maybe she just needed to hear it from someone in their 30s. Which when you're 16 is like fucking ancient.
Yep.
One of the notes I wrote was just like, high school is not the best time of your life.
I literally wrote the same thing too. I think mine says high school shouldn't be the best time of your life.
Yeah, that's also true though. I mean, it's a different point and also valid. Yeah. If you're peaking in high school, good luck. Jesus.
Yeah.
Can't with this show sometimes.
Often.
And yet, still a good episode.
It really was a good episode. There was a lot of Klaine in this episode, always worth mention. Lots of background Klaine moments that were very sweet. It seemed like a genuine relationship, question mark. Wow.
Yep. I definitely just have a big all caps that says Lima Bean coffee date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so much happened in this scene that is not quite iconic, but it is definitely just excellent. I didn't totally appreciate Kurt saying that if they don't win at sectionals, they'll be regulated to the life of barista work, and then he'll have nothing to live for.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, your dad just became congressman.
I know, I wrote that down. He also owns a business.
He owns a business. Your dad just became congressman, and being a barista doesn't ruin your life. I mean, like emotionally, it does, but it's not the end of your life.
Kurt is a barista for a period.
I know.
Is it right after this? He's filling out a job application as he says it.
Yeah. I mean, like,
He's
sure, I wrote
to work at the Lima Bean, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to be a barista." I'm like, "You don't have to be."
No, there's
application.
There's other. I mean, maybe the Lima Bean is the only job in Lima, Ohio.
Might be. It really might be.
How long did it take you to realize that Lima Bean was a pun?
Oh yeah, it's a double pun. Yeah, because like coffee beans, Lima Bean. Yeah.
It took me way too long into watching the show that I was like Lima beans, and also they're in Lima. Oh, just yeah. So I appreciated their conversation. I appreciated that Blaine was venting to his boyfriend about Finn, like a real. Like dramatically, but at least they're talking about something that's not.
Oh yeah,
at least they're talking. Good. And then obviously Sebastian has to show up out of nowhere.
Of course,
I love it.
I love the little face off between Sebastian and Kurt. That is one of the most iconic. Like
it is.
Yeah, I definitely love that, and that's definitely where my love of Kurt and Sebastian as enemies to lovers was born.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I love when Kurt says about the CW hair, and then Grant ends up on the CW as the Flash.
Yep.
It's so good.
Also, him calling him like, I don't like the gay face insult because again, they resort back to just like making fun of Chris's looks.
Yeah.
But somehow Chris, or like, Kurt calling Sebastian Meerkat, I love.
I don't like you.
Fun. I don't like you either.
I don't like the way you talk to my boyfriend. I don't like your smirky little meerkat face. I don't like your obnoxious CW hair. I'm on to you.
I do too. Your smirky little meerkat face.
Yeah, like, come on, writers. If you could give Kurt that line for Sebastian, you could have come up with something better for Kurt.
Yeah.
He could, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that well, one, Blaine pieces out because what's about to happen. He's like, I'm not. I mean, maybe he just finds it too hot to watch them argue over him.
I mean, he's either stepping aside so they can like measure their dicks in private, or like you said, so that he could just watch them.
Yeah, I feel like he's just standing at the counter watching and like maybe recording for later. I appreciate Kurt straight up telling someone, I don't like you. There's something very powerful about telling someone to their face that you don't like them.
Yes.
And it just doesn't happen that often.
Let's talk about what Sebastian says when he walks up, which is, "What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you online." What is the context of that? Is Blaine on Tumblr? That's where my head goes.
Well, I mean, my head was that they were using AIM to chat, but I'm old. So I guess really it would be like Facebook Messenger in 2012. Yeah. What would they been using? MySpace was probably dead by then.
Skype,
maybe they were Skype chatting. I still like to think the AOL box. Yeah. Or Blaine is a cam boy.
Or that. I mean, maybe that's why he got so mad about Sam. It was really just his own issues. He was just projecting.
Yeah.
High schoolers out there, please don't. You're underage. Don't do that.
You're underage, but you're valid.
We can joke about it, but like, don't.
Yeah.
But being a barista is not that bad.
Yeah, if the options are cam boy and barista.
Yes.
Well, no. I'm just picturing the fan art.
There's been a different fun visual fan art every episode lately, and I love that.
There has.
Yes.
Cam boy Blaine and Sebastian just paying his debts.
But yeah, Sebastian, I guess transitioning into the rest of the Sebastian thing, like interesting twist that they're not going up against the Warblers in sectionals this year when they did last year.
I know.
So now they're in 2 different sectionals. Fascinating. But yeah, I thought it was really sweet that all the Warblers come to support them in sectionals, and that Sebastian seems to genuinely be excited for them. Even Kurt? ?
Okay. Yes. And I know that I exist over in the corner with my like Sublane brain, but Sebastian like does genuinely seem to appreciate Blaine's talent. Like whatever else his douchebaggery entails, he does compliment the shit out of that kid. Right. And seems to mean it as genuinely as Sebastian can mean something genuinely, and really enjoys watching those performances, which could be the camboy thing. But it's at least part of their relationship is that Sebastian finds Blaine talented and worthy of his attention, I guess, whatever that means. It's just too bad that it goes the way it goes. For me, personally. But I do like that he is a team player when it comes to the competitions.
Yeah, there was a surprising amount of emotional maturity in this episode.
Yes, I wrote that at the bottom. Like my tagline was that this was a character-driven episode where the performances actually fed the show rather than the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like obviously Grant didn't, after a point didn't really come back because he got,
a better job.
CW job. But yeah, I think all of the setup for Sebastian was for him to at some point be something more than just, shows up and hits on Blaine a little bit.
Right? I think so too. Yeah. And I get that. We can't say this for certain, but it does feel like Ryan Murphy makes character decisions based on what will annoy the viewers the most.
Yeah.
So upcoming storylines with Kurt and Blaine especially do seem like sharp sticks to the eye of Klaine fans, and that using Sebastian as mid-game or as trouble in paradise just made too much sense. Like there was too much background and too much setup that couldn't happen. Like, wait, the fans kind of like this and at least appreciate the inherent drama of someone trying to steal someone's boyfriend or even just flirt. Can't do it. Gotta get rid of him. Or make him a full villain.
Oh, I see what you're saying, is that neither of them could have had an actual relationship with Sebastian, because they never do. Nobody even hooks up with Sebastian because Klaine fans might have kind of liked that. So they had to have terrible mid games. I see what you mean. Yes.
I feel like, I mean, maybe that's just coming from a perspective where I like the character of Sebastian, and I know a ton of people hated him in part because he was gunning for Blaine. But at least in my neck of the Tumblr woods, there were people who were like, no, this is kind of awesome. There's some drama. It makes sense. Grant's super hot and funny. And it fit where the characters were coming from. And that, yeah, why wouldn't Kurt be self-conscious? He's been shit on his entire life, and finally someone loves him for him, and someone else swoops in.
There's some competition. Yeah.
There's competition. But I always feel like RIB can't keep good storylines if it makes the fans happy or makes too much logical sense. But maybe that's like bitter Glee fan coming out.
It definitely.
I mean, that's the punchline of this podcast. So bitter Glee fan coming out is absolutely okay.
Yep. Fair.
That's definitely what it looks like in hindsight, at least.
Right. And we can't know everything that was happening behind the scenes. Ryan, if you wanted to maybe shed some light on your decision-making process, we're open.
Grant must have started The Flash very soon after this, though, because he's not even really in...
He disappears for a long
season
time.
4 a little bit, yeah. And then the Warblers aren't in season 5 at all.
No.
Except like one episode. So
The Flash, the first episode aired October 7th, 2014. So they would have been filming 2013.
Okay.
Probably, depending on what their schedule is like. So yeah, this is right after that.
Yeah.
Could have had a different show, man.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Sebastian.
Very much. Always a shoulda, coulda, woulda.
My hill to die on.
But to be clear, I was one of those that hated Sebastian when the show was
I get it, though. Like,
live.
it makes sense to hate him.
In retrospect, I'm like, I love Grant, and to see the characters that they put in as mid-game or threats to Klaine later, I'm like, no, those are all... some of them aren't even real characters, right? Like, literally a lighthouse.
Oh, God.
But the other ones that are real characters, Adam, it's like, that's not even...
Adam doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, like...
Adam makes me angry on 19 levels.
I know, can't wait to get to those episodes. We're just going to be angry ranting. Mark my words. Season 3 is the last time we will be like, oh, this was a great episode. Like, this is it.
So I guess another big storyline here. Well, should we sidetrack to Mike and Tina before we get to sectionals?
Maybe we go Mike and Tina and then sectionals.
This felt... I'm not sure how I feel about this. How do you feel about... I mean, I appreciate that they brought back around that his dad's a dick and that he's struggling between his dreams and money. But what are your thoughts here?
I mean, as someone who, when I was in high school, was spending a lot of time trying to please my parents, not quite as dramatically as Mike was. My conflict with my parents happened more in college than it did in high school. But I feel like it was realistic. Like, I think the question of whether Tina should have gotten involved sticks with me, because thinking of it in a realistic way, like, I wouldn't have been able to advocate for myself in the way that I needed to. And I could see that in Mike. Like, Mike wasn't able to do, because he's got parental expectations, and it's ingrained in us to, like, want to please our parents. And it's hard to, you can't just break away from that overnight. It takes years of therapy and, but in its societal expectations, it's internal, inherent, like, drive. So I feel like had Tina not gotten involved, we might not have seen an actual wrap up of that storyline, because I feel like Mike would have never stood up to his parents. Not then anyways, maybe years down the line, when he's like 2 semesters into med school and is like, fuck, I don't want to do this, which I've seen happen. You know, one of my sorority sisters had Asian with Asian parents, expected her to go to med school, and she dropped out like 3 years in, and she's a wedding photographer now.
Nice.
You know, I've seen that storyline play out. So I think in the sense of it, in the sense of Glee needing to wrap that storyline up, Tina had to get involved. Should Tina have gotten involved? I'm not sure. It ended well, but I guess it could have ended worse than it. I don't know if it could have ended worse than it would otherwise. Because I mean, Mike was still going to go to school for pre-med, whether his dad liked what Tina had to say or not. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
At least Tina was trying something different. Mike was just going to lay down and take it.
Yeah, that's where I had trouble, was like, how involved does someone else get to be, and so forcefully.
Right.
Like, it's one thing to have a conversation, and it's another to, I guess, show up at your dad's office and tell him he's a dick to his face. I don't know. It was just like, hold on, you are also 17, and that's an adult.
I'd be uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, I was a little like, woo. Especially now, as I get older, I keep thinking about, like, what if someone just walked into my office and was like, you need to treat so-and-so. Like, whoa, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't know that as an adult, someone would take that well. Like, with the good intentions that it comes with, that your response wouldn't just be like, well, fuck all of you. I'm the dad.
Well, he did do that at first. And I'm assuming he's met Tina several times. They've been together for like over
a long time. Yeah.
Over a year now. So
I mean, in Glee, they're married.
Yeah. And never on again, off again. Wow. They're like always the strong. See, if you're a background couple, you get to stay together.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there wasn't another Asian character to racistly put them together with. Like, you couldn't be Mike Chang and Tina Cohen Chang without each other. So.
Right. I feel like where I really disliked Tina's actions was actually the earlier conversation. I didn't write down exactly what they said, but by the lockers where Mike tells her, like, no, I've already applied to Stanford. Like, I'm going to go pre-med. Like, I'm not going to put an application in to go to school for dance. And they both kind of have a very like, well, fuck you too, kind of like ending to that conversation, which I just think is like a hard line in a romantic relationship. Like, they were like, maybe we just shouldn't be together. I'm like, you high schoolers, I guess, but I'm like, that's not the way to have an argument.
It was very not off the cuff. It was very from the gut, I guess. Just like, you can't tell me what to do, but you can't tell me what to do. Goodbye.
Right.
Like, oh.
Right.
But I mean, they are teeming with hormones.
Yeah.
This is like the closest they've ever been to breaking up, honestly.
I thought about that too. Yeah, it really is like, it was kind of their one big argument that I can think of. Mm-hmm. But, it had to happen at some point, I guess.
But, I mean, it was very gratifying, in that Glee, everything's perfect. Now I'm wrapping up of a storyline, right? Multi-episode storyline, amazing, that his dad does come to sectionals, I'm guessing after he watched the DVD of Mike in West Side Story, comes to sectionals and like has a good time. Amazing.
Yeah, and I guess from now on they have a happy family. Right? No?
We hope so anyways. I think so. Yeah, I don't think we ever see...
Part of me is like, yeah, I want that for Mike. But part of me is like, there's no way that actually happens.
0% chance. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Narcissistic parents do not change overnight.
And this is Glee, like, half-assing something because, like, they just really wanted to get back to writing Rachel scenes. I was going to say Rachel Finn scenes, but really it's just Rachel scenes.
Yeah.
It must have killed them that Rachel couldn't be in the in the songs.
Does that take us to sectionals now?
I think so.
It can. We can spend as much time prepping for sectionals as they did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, literally he's picking out songs. I'm like, dude, your competition is this weekend.
I didn't even remember that they were picking, not even like just starting to rehearse, but picking the songs for sectionals the week of. And they're like, oh, it's this weekend. Like,
This is how you know RIB did 0.5 seconds of research on show choir, because like maybe dance professionals in Hollywood can learn a song and dance every single week, multiple songs and dance every single week, but fucking high schoolers cannot.
No. And then if you actually look at Sectionals, they have 3 fucking songs with vastly different types of choreography.
This shit always annoys me about Glee, but it's the most criminal in this specific competition that the New Directions always gets more songs than everybody else. And it's not even like they make it look like, oh, we just cut to something else and maybe they had more songs that we just didn't get to see. Literally, like, the lights go out on them and people stand up and applaud. Like, the other 2 show choirs only got 1 song. That's bullshit. Of course you win if you have 3 songs and everybody else has 1.
I could not. It bothered me the first time, and this time you were just like, okay, but I would rather see the Troubletones sing a couple more songs. They didn't even get 2 songs. They had to mash 2 together.
Which, by the way, that's a wonderful mashup. Of course, the Adele one is number 1, but that's a really clever one.
It is very good,
Survivor / I Will Survive. It's great.
You know what else I was thinking of though? Like the choreography and the ladies dancing was super cute. But Mercedes is belting it.
I know.
And doesn't seem to have any trouble with the choreography, even though it is an entire plot point previously that she couldn't keep up.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like, I guess she's been practicing her dancing and her lung capacity.
All those booty camps worked.
I guess they did. I mean,
Troubletones actually rehearses in a reasonable amount of time instead of having drama and songs of the week. So
that's really it. Shelby just actually had them working on things.
I mean, vocal adrenaline, she would know.
Yeah, it's like the Glee Club showing up with songs they wrote in their hotel room 3 days ago or like 3 hours ago, and like, what do you mean we didn't win? Like, well, you just wrote these.
And then Glee explained that away, just be like, oh, it's because you kissed on stage and that's against the rules. No, because you didn't rehearse.
God. I did. So, okay, before we jump to the New Directions, we had the Unitards and the return of Harmony singing Buenos Aires.
I'd forgotten that she comes back in this episode, and I was so excited because I love that fucking song. It used to be one of my most played like Glee songs on Spotify because it's just a fun song. She kills it.
She does. They all look great. I loved Kurt's line.
Oh my god, it's the Gerber baby.
Beautiful.
Yes, it was so good.
Beautiful.
Kurt had so many fun like little side things in this episode. He really like.
When he mouths "What's wrong with you" to Blaine during Red Solo Cup.
Yes, I wrote that down too.
That was the moment when I texted you guys about their personalities, because and how they're like too similar. Because in that moment I was like, but what if Blaine were more like himbo jock and less Dapper Dan? And you've got your theater kid. He's a little up, Kurt's a little uptight. He's the theater kid. He's a little more prim and proper. And his like goofy, adorable himbo boyfriend who's like doing Red Solo Cup and having the best time of his life.
But this is consistent because remember Blame It on the Alcohol, where Kurt was like, no, I'm not going to drink. I got to keep it together. And
it is consistent.
Blaine was like,
fucking having a blast. And that is where I wanted it to be like, why not explore that side of Blaine? Because you get these little moments, or like when he's dancing at Scandals, and then it just goes right back to bow ties and shiny shoes and tight pants. And you're like, okay, but where's that guy? Like, where's this weird dynamic of these two? And that's why I texted that to you.
It's like Blaine is like, I have my outer me and I have my inner me, and I don't let everybody else see the inner me, unless I'm really, really comfortable / drunk.
I was gonna say these all revolve around drinking.
And Red Solo Cup was one of those really fun group song moments that I always love. Like I was like a little emotional with like Cord coming, Sam coming back and everybody like hugging him and like welcoming him. So I was like, oh, that makes me think of like, you know, all the best things about like being in a choir. Anyways, that song is fucking stupid, but
yes,
it's cute. And Finn doing the little like talking parts in it and stuff. It made for cute TV.
It did. It was in the reviews, there were definitely people who were like, this was terrible. Why did they do this? And to that I say, fuck off. Just like, we criticize the shit out of this show, but we can also enjoy some of the dumbass. Like, shut up. Just enjoy this bullshit song. Come on.
I mean, there are a handful of numbers that fit in that category of like, I just don't care. I love it. Like the one, what's the song when they're all in the choir room in season 1?
Oh yeah,
and
Ride With Me.
Yeah. Like that and Red Solo Cup. And there's a few more that are in future episodes. I'm just like, yeah, unashamedly we'll blast those.
And like you don't have like, it's not the weird fantasy sequence where they're all dressed up and like they're on stage and like stuff like that. Like they're just in the choir room. It's just kind of off the cuff jamming. It's fun.
Something that maybe real friends might do.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Weird.
Not this overproduced TV fantasy thing.
So we have the Troubletones killing it. Amazing.
They kill it. They're amazing.
Let's just pretend like they got to sing 2 other Destiny's Child mashups.
Oh, God, that would be great.
I guess.
I would love for them to do Jumpin'.
Oh, that is such a fun song.
/ you know, Jump for My Love. You guys, every time they have a competition and they have that guy who does the announcing of the groups, I always hear the nude erections.
Yeah, I know.
I never hear it until that guy does it. And he's like, the nude erections. Like, I swear he says it on purpose.
I think he might, yeah. I think he might. I did love the different judges.
Yes,
always
the clown.
The clown. Yeah, who gets like his own little line in the Glee Wikia of like co-star.
Yeah, he was like credited in the
yeah. All right, I guess.
I thought it was cute because Sugar, you can see her mouth like tinkles, like yelling like they're excited. This fucking like what #1 birthday clown in Southeast Ohio or whatever.
Her background work is truly phenomenal.
I know.
She's amazing. Like as an actress, Vanessa's amazing.
Yeah. Like I think I just didn't appreciate it the first time around, and now I just think, yes.
She's one of the best newbies, probably. We should do like a newbie rank mini episode. After we watch, okay, well, I guess we can't wait all the way till then, but season 6 has some good newbies, actually.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I've never seen them.
What's a shame because it's a short season. Like they knew going in, it was only going to be 13 episodes or whatever. And I'm like, you're introducing like 8 new people. Who thinks that's a good idea? Fucking Glee.
That's how all critiques end, with just fucking Glee.
Zach Woodley. But it's Glee.
But it's Glee.
But it's Glee.
So the nude erections get 3 songs. They do
the Jackson trio.
They do the Jacksons.
Teacher's gonna show you how to get an A. Spell me you add the 2. Listen to me, baby, that's all you gotta do. Oh, ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. Or simple as do, re, mi. ABC 1, 2, 3, baby, you and me go. See, it's easy, it's like counting up to 3. Sing a simple melody. That's how easy love can be. That's how easy love can be. Sing a simple melody. 1, 2, 3, you and me.
I am. This is complicated, right? Because like Michael Jackson's music is astounding.
Yes.
And I won't hear anybody arguing with me on that. However, at what point do you just say is a little too complicated and a little too fucked up to use his music in a show like this, and maybe we'll just step back from it. Like the Jackson 5, Children, also weird. They were all tortured by their dad, but it's a good song. Janet Jackson, underrated, ruined by Justin Timberlake. Use the song.
Yes.
But like, what are the ethical questions about using the Michael Jackson's music at this point when we know what's up? No, I was gonna say like full offense to everyone who I love Michael Jackson and I cried like a baby when he died, and also
sometimes it's just not worth it. Like honestly, there is a comparison I want to make, sort of the same way with glorifying Puck. Now,
yeah, fuck that.
I don't know. I mean, like, I can recognize that in context, there are songs that Mark did that during the first run of the show, I just liked. But now that I know more, I can't go back and be like, well, I liked them before I knew stuff, so I'm going to pretend I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me either. And like everybody on the planet has I've been listening to Michael Jackson since I was a kid story. So we all are in the same boat. Like no one just discovered Michael Jackson because of Glee. Yeah. So, and it kind of tied in for me this time with what are Ryan Murphy's ethical quandaries if they exist at all?
I mean,
like
I'm not sure he has any.
Right? Like when did he know about Mark Salling?
Yeah.
And if he knew before the end of the show, why the fuck was he still on the show? And even if you had an inkling that there was a problem before the show ended, we know what's up with Michael Jackson. Well, I guess "no" is a hard word, but we are fairly certain that there was problematic, questionable, and probably illegal behavior happening. But you don't have to use his music. Like, it's phenomenal, but you don't have to. Partly because it's also fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, it's cheap, so let's use it. Like, no. I don't know. I want to love it because they're good songs, and every time I'm just like, but why?
Yeah.
But why? Anyway, so ABC was good. So getting all of that out of the way, my second thought was that, oh look, everybody can get lines in the songs if Rachel just isn't in them. Like, and just I
really liked that. I was like, wow,
I do too.
Like, I forgot Jenna can sing.
Yeah. Fucking Mike got a bunch of lines. Artie got to sing a little bit. It was like it somehow proved that Rachel is not needed for the Glee Club, and in fact takes them down. Sometimes. Not that she's not a great singer, but
definitely in the like team morality aspect.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure, like, you know, dipping into the fictional world here, like a group of high schoolers would all feel pretty motivated by actually getting to participate.
Yeah, it might actually raise the joy that everyone feels, the glee, perhaps, that they feel.
You did there.
Did you? Was that pretty good? Thanks.
That's pretty good.
Thanks. I was pretty excited about that one. I thought about it for like 3 days. Yeah. So I liked that everyone got to shine. I also appreciated Blaine, or the line of "that's how easy love can be" as the camera pans from Blaine to Sebastian in the audience. But like, that's fine. That's cool. That's for me.
That was literally for you. That was fan service for a specific fan.
That was just for me. And on the flip side, Kurt glaring at Sebastian from the stage, which, I don't know, B, you've been on stage. Can they even see them? I don't think they can see each other.
Can they, like, see into the audience?
Yeah, there's some bright, like, I don't know, on Broadway, but, like, there's some bright fucking lights, man. Like, he's not making eye contact with Sebastian.
There's usually, like, the stage lights are usually more down. and kind of like at a higher angle, but the spotlight, hell fucking no. You can always see like the front row sort of, but yeah, any farther than that, and you'd have to know exactly where they're sitting in the audience to even find them, you know. But Glee does that all the time, where you like make eye contact with someone in the audience and on stage, and it's like,
how?
It's just not real. Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining they all sit around like passing out the seating arrangements beforehand. All right, now we're gonna put eye focus here. Or Kurt just does that with Sebastian. Kurt's like, no, I need to know where the meerkat's sitting.
I got to keep my eyes on him. Love it. I did like Mercedes' little laugh to herself with Sam dancing. Like that's the kind of background, like it's not even relationship development, it's just character development, where you can see that Mercedes is still like, that kid cute. You can see it.
Yeah, they had a few really good moments like that. Like when Sam is like shouting after in the beginning and Mercedes is walking away, just like grinning to herself.
Yes.
I like that. That's adorable.
It also makes it kind of sad that they don't do more Sam Sadies, where you're just like, God, they're so cute.
Yeah.
They're so cute. Weird. And then Man in the Mirror. Fun group number. Everyone gets to sing. The show remembers that Artie exists. So good for them. And then somehow the New Directions win. Spoiler alert.
Still don't understand that. But again, as you said, getting 3 songs to everyone else's 1 probably helped.
I think it's sheer song ratio.
Yeah. Right, because
talent level was not.
Well, the Unitards sang 1 song and came in 3rd. The Troubletones had a 2-song mashup and came in 2nd. And then so it is an inverse ratio of inverse or something.
That explains why Gerber Baby was so excited to get 3rd. Like, they knew they were getting 3rd. That's clearly what they planned for.
Right. They only did the 1 song, and they were going to do it well. Because there are only 3 teams in sectionals?
Yeah, apparently.
I guess. That's always been a question, is how many people perform in the different competitions.
Well, Glee always likes to have the 3rd show choir be like a joke too. One time it was literally old people.
It was. They sang a good song though, so like, jokes on them.
So it was nice to see a competition where there's actually 3 competent show choirs.
I know.
Yeah.
Still confused on the judging. Yeah, I don't think that really holds water.
No. It's sexist is what it is.
You know what's kind of fucked is like right before they go on stage, remember the Troubletones are like, if we win, like, all of you guys can join us. And they're like scandalized. Like everyone is like, how dare you say that and all this stuff. But then literally 10 minutes later, they're letting all the Troubletones join them. So I'm like, what?
Yeah. Instead of just being like, oh, that's really nice of you, so we continue our singing careers.
Yeah. Like just
and it's
straight up horrified. What?
Yeah. And like, how dare you assume that we're going to lose? Like, that's what a competition is. Like, if you don't...
wouldn't they?
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't they assume that they're going to win? You have to, or else you're just never going to compete. I'm going to go out there, but I think I'm just going to come in last. It's cool.
You guys are definitely going to win, but we're just going to go ahead and sing anyway.
Yeah. That's how some of the other show choirs must feel with, like, vocal adrenaline.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't know if we're done talking about sectionals, but I did just realize that we skipped over Demon Boxing Blaine. And I feel like we'd be remiss to end this episode without that bit of fan service. Unless it's only fan service for me.
I would guess it's fan service for Ryan Murphy and just let everyone else benefit.
It does feel like a wet dream he once had brought to life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do remember when the photos and clips first started coming out that Tumblr was a mess. I remember the GIFs where Blaine's eyes are all blacked out, so he looks like Demon Blaine. That was a good AU. I absolutely love the line.
Don't act so surprised. After getting bullied so much, I took up boxing.
I also started the Dalton branch of Fight Club, which I obviously can't talk about.
That is one of those, like, this episode had a few of those, like, iconic Glee lines.
Yeah, there are certain lines that just, they ended up in fic, they ended up on gift sets, they exist, and the Dalton branch of Fight Club is absolutely one of those.
Also, You Smell Like Craigslist is one I saw a lot.
Yes, You Smell Like Craigslist. The CW hair, naturally.
Yeah.
So
especially after Flash.
Yes, I liked those combo gifs. You know, Blaine unloads on Finn, and we get a reminder that Blaine was bullied, which could maybe be a bigger storyline overall, but this is how we're gonna use it. And Finn admits that he feels threatened by someone a foot shorter than him.
Their size difference in that scene really is incredible.
They had to stand so far apart to end up in the same framing. That
like, I'm surprised they didn't just like full on just like have Blaine on a box.
I know. I just, every time. I also couldn't get over Darren's waxed chest because the tan difference was so strong. His like just pale, haven't been outside, haven't been living in Los Angeles that long skin versus the rest of him was like, oh, they just did that to you 2 days ago, didn't they? As if, I don't know. I guess there are guys who don't have chest hair in high school. Maybe my swim team was just super hairy.
I don't actually know. I spent most of high school trying not to look at shirtless guys. Because the ones at my school, like, even if I did have an appreciation for them, were not.
It's not what you wanted.
The one to be looking at.
Yeah, I will say that the swim team, you really lose some modesty there. So, especially, anyway. But yeah, just that Ryan Murphy felt the need to wax Darren down anytime he was shirtless on this show was just, like, do you put that in your contract? Like, how does that... Where do you have...
It was right by the gel clause that Darren clearly did not read first.
Yeah, like, did they tell him when he became a series regular, like, well, one, we're gonna have you take off your clothes more and more, and two, we're gonna wax you.
Poor Darren. Then again, he built his career from it. So
I was
maybe
gonna say, like, not poor Darren, but like, ow. And then I also wrote, God, but he's pretty in this scene, and I feel like that's the last vestiges of my old fandom life. Was like, God, he really was pretty though. The anger does it for me. I don't know about you.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
We've all had fantasies about hitting him, right?
I mean, yes.
Is this me? It's fine. Violence is not the answer. Don't hit. Communicate. Don't hit. So, I guess are we final? Maybe? Looking at my notes. The final performance. We Are Young.
Yeah, again, just like one I really liked.
Yeah, no, it's so sweet and it's so well done, and it's so great when the Troubletone ladies show up on the side and are just like welcomed with open arms, because it's not like they haven't been performing together for 3 years. Yeah. Like, these are our enemies. Like, no, they're your classmates and friends.
Yeah, so. You literally still have classes together, even if you're not in a Glee club together.
Yeah, we saw that not many episodes ago. Yeah, they were literally still in classes.
So it's nice, and it was nice to see Quinn being happy with her friends.
Yeah, I liked the bathroom scene right before it, where Quinn, like, you know, talks about them, not even just convincing them to come back, but just like reminding them that the door is always open, and that you know they should let go of the animosity. And you know, but I wonder, with the new direction reactions earlier, would it have gone the other way so easily? But whatever. It is what it is. But I was crying like before the song even really started because I knew. Well, there's that moment where
there is.
Everybody already knows where Corey hugs Naya, and the background is just like clouds and sky, and I was like not ready to watch it.
It got me. It got me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that song blew up huge right after that.
It did.
That was really where it was like introduced to the world, and like, yeah.
And that song was a hit. And I'm sure made the charts if I spent 3 minutes trying to find some data. You're our data person. Go find us. Oh, this is one of 3 episodes that were submitted for the 2012 Emmys. So that's not a bad pick. That's a good pick. Yeah. So yeah, I liked this episode. It's not perfect.
It was a good one.
But in the pantheon of Glee episodes, like, yeah.
It's refreshing. Like, can you imagine what this podcast would be if every episode were like, here are all the things we liked and a couple of issues we had?
It would be shorter episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
I looked up We Are Young. It made it to number 1. And US Billboard Hot 100 for the decade of 2010 to 2019, it was number 29.
Is that a Glee bump, or was it? I'm going to guess it was a Glee bump on that one.
That song did not exist on the radio until Glee did it. I remember that very distinctly because my best friend, at the time, still one of my best friends, loved Nate Ruiz, or however you say his name, who leads Fun, had a project before that called The Format, still one of her favorite bands. Anyways, so I remember us watching this episode of Glee
She's a fan
together.
before Fun.
I know. So shout out Hillary. I don't think she listens to the pod, but if you ever do. But yeah, I remember her being like, I know that band because I know Nate and blah, blah, blah. And then that song blew up and Fun blew up right after that. But yeah, the Glee effect, which you kids, if you didn't know, Glee was actually really big back in the day. I know it seems ridiculous, but people were clamoring to get their songs on Glee because it would boost the original song as well.
It really did.
Chart. Yeah. I mean, this song went to number 1. That's crazy.
We could also just have a whole mini episode talking about the music and kind of the impact of the music. But like, you would hear that shit on the radio, not the original version. You would hear the Glee version sometimes, especially the Christmas music. I still hear the Klaine "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Yeah. That's the only one I regularly hear anymore, but at least once a year in a random store. Well, maybe not this year, since I don't know if stores are gonna.
Well, that's true.
Thing to go into, but generally, yeah, I hear the "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Yeah. And I mean, like, superior Christmas song anyway. So like,
the only version of "Baby It's Cold Outside" I will accept. Period. No other version comes close. The Glee one is the best one. I won't hear any argument.
I mean, that's a bold statement. It's a choice. I mean, it's not totally wrong, but yeah. I mean, the cultural impact of Glee, and I know we have it in our little tagline, but for a good couple of years there, it was some shit. And that is phenomenal to think about when you tend to consider shows that are arguably good are the shows with cultural impact. And and to be fair, like, the flip side of this, and maybe we should have an entire different podcast about like pop culture, which of course no one has ever done. Shows like Game of Thrones have a huge cultural impact and arguably became pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And that's more of the Glee track, right? You kind of start with a bang and then you just keep watching and it somehow hits the zeitgeist just right and leaves a mark. Not as wide of a mark, obviously, but people of our age, there are Glee lines where you're like, you know where the fuck that came from. And who's going to let go of the Dalton meme? The gay Hogwarts? Yeah. I see that fucking gay Hogwarts thing on the regular on Tumblr. And yes, Tumblr.
Talk at me while I eat.
Talk at me while I eat.
Yeah.
And like, yes, obviously, Tumblr is also a niche social media site and should remain as such.
Yes.
And should never be in the zeitgeist.
But literally worthless site that has cost people billions for thinking they should own it.
That is truly my favorite thing about Tumblr at this point.
That's why I won't leave Tumblr. I'm like, no, I can actually do capitalistic damage by being an active user on this site.
Yeah. Continuing to reblog 10-year-old GIFs for free ruins people's like IPO. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. It's great.
That's how you bring down Yahoo.
I'm gonna put that on my resume one day.
Yeah.
Next time I apply for a job, like participated in devaluing Yahoo.
I love it. So, have we covered the key points? Do we have any last bits of trivia, bits of like, oh, that one thing I really liked and we didn't talk about?
No, I think we got everything.
We hit the mark. I'm gonna take the silence as a.
I think all that's left are the indices and the faves.
Indices and the faves.
I will say I made one note that says "rich white girl problems." Lol.
Yes, I did know that too.
So that's McQuinn, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that.
Although, and my other random note was that the Sam and Santana scene is really cute because of how he reacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where like she just like rips into him and he's like, I missed you too, Santana. And then like picks her up and hugs her.
Yeah. I liked that as showing that for the most part, the Glee Club understands that when Santana does some of this shit, it's her love language in a way. Like some of the stuff she says to Kurt, especially early on, is bullying, but some of the other insults, I mean, don't insult your friends, that's bad, but for her character, I think you do have to kind of understand sometimes that it is her way of showing affection because she can't otherwise, doesn't know how.
Look, repression is a real thing.
Yeah, and she's so cute. Great. Do we want to hit the Kevin McScale?
Once again, was he in this episode?
He got a line.
He got a line.
He did have a solo. Well, everybody got a solo at Sectionals, but yeah, he did have solo in Control.
Yeah.
And
so like, a 2. Yeah. Well, I feel like we're starting to upgrade based on how shitty other episodes. Like, I feel like maybe this is still only 1.5. Like, I don't actually know that he had a line beyond some of the singing.
Yeah.
So
he gets to sing
1.5.
1.5. Yeah.
Especially since somehow the Kevin McScale only goes to 5.
Well, you know,
we didn't start this well. The Klainedex.
I mean, they had a lot of
scenes. They had lots of background.
Yep.
They both got to sing. It wasn't a duet, but they both did get to sing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe like a 6?
I was going to say like a 6.
Okay. Maybe like 6. Yeah.
Okay. They didn't really have their own storyline.
Right. They had screen time, but it wasn't Klaine time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was good.
We came here for Klaine time, not a long time. I don't.
And then Coulda Shoulda Woulda. Was there anything, I guess for this specific episode, I don't know if it counts to like, you know, just talk about Sebastian's overall involvement in the show.
Yeah. I will always say more Sebastian. Just overall incomplete.
I feel like, you know, that's like if we're talking about Sebastian's involvement over the entire show, that's like a 90 out of 100. Like, they just dropped the ball on that one. They could have gone a lot of more interesting places.
I know. We'll just rewrite the show from Sebastian's perspective.
That's what fanfiction's for, kids.
I would read that. I would watch it too, but I would also read it.
Just thinking like, yeah. I'm just thinking about it. Mandy, get on it. Do it.
Sure.
Can we still say do it for the Vine? Is that? No.
I will do it for a $50 Patreon donation.
Perfect. Great.
But like one chapter a month, so you got to keep up with that $50.
Okay. Great. I like your drive.
Yeah.
I dig it. All right. Favorite lines, unless we've already said them. I honestly, other than the meerkat face, I just love the fuck, what was it? I'm scrolling. Oh no. God,
I have while you're scrolling, I held back my actual favorite line, and it's it's Sam and Quinn's conversation when she says
Please don't say
under her breath.
Oh
Yes.
that is good.
I had a lot of fun lines.
It did have a lot of good lines. I really, for some reason, liked the even homeless people have Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's kind of bad. Like it's not.
It's kind of bad.
It's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Oh no! I think it's still. I didn't know Backdraft was a musical.
Yeah.
Just because you said it so like, oh yeah, Backdraft.
My favorite was when they're like rehearsing their dance moves, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have enough girls. Girls are like what gets attention, like, which is dumb." Hello, the Warblers. But Rory says, and I can't believe he said it because I can't understand what he says half the time. So I had to read the captions. He says, "Girls smell better than ham," and then a bunch of other stuff. That's what he says. Girls smell better than ham.
Yeah, he does say that.
And then in that same scene, Sam does his body roll, and Artie's like, "I got light tingles when it's only 50-50 for tingling."
Yes. Oh, that is his line. He does have a line.
Yeah, one line, yeah. So maybe we bump it up to it too. Maybe.
50-50 for tingles. That is. It's
great
so
delivery.
inappropriate, and
Great job,
it's the delivery. We probably shouldn't laugh at it, and I realize that it's probably really problematic, but
he's clearly saying it as a way to make fun of himself a little bit, though.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, anyways.
For sure. Super. Favorite songs?
I'm gonna say the final number.
We Are Young.
Just because I really liked it.
Yeah, gotta be for me too.
No, but Red Solo Cup was so good.
There can only be one.
The scene is amazing. The song itself, I still am like.
Well, that's true.
Song.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
It's a very dumb song.
But you're right. The performance was very cute.
Yeah.
I think that's Toby Keith.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
Amazing. Great. So I think that is Hold On to 16. Yeah.
I'm sad that they didn't sing Jack and Diane, though. I really love that song. And Glee never did it.
Are you sad that they didn't sing a little ditty?
That's right. About
Jack
and Diane.
Two kids living in the heartland.
Like, very like high school song.
They're kids living in the heartland.
They would have probably given it to like Mr. Shoe to sing or something.
Oh.
Maybe we're blessed.
That's true. He didn't sing at all in this episode, and I think we should be
right.
Happy about that.
He just smiled at them from the wings. That's when I like Mr. Shoe the most. Great.
when he's just in the background, just kind of.
Emma was in this one too, to clap in the background. I was like, all right.
Yes. Sue wasn't in this episode at all.
Right.
Which is, always interesting when they just choose not to have somebody, but I can definitely see why there's just no room for her this time.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you for listening. I think that's a cap on Hold On to 16. I don't know. What is it? Smash that like button. rate, download, subscribe, comment, smash the likes, tell your coworkers. You can hide this podcast from your coworkers. You don't need to include it in your coffee breaks. So if you want to support us at all, we have a Patreon and a bunch of social media accounts and a website which exists. Thanks for listening. And we will hit you up next time with another episode. Why do I never keep these things? Oh, it's the Christmas episode.
Yep.
Extraordinary. I was like, something's coming. Extraordinary Merry Christmas.
It's the black and white Christmas special one.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous episode.
This is going to be great. So yeah, we're going to have Christmas in the middle of the summer, and it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that episode, and that's what you missed on Glee.